No problem. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, I was reading an article this morning, and it had nothing to do with this hearing. It was Secretary of State John Kerry is in Berlin, and he described a scene when he was 12 years old. He was in Germany with his father, who was a diplomat. And he describes that when he was about 12, he went on a bike ride, and he actually crossed the border and went from West Germany to East Germany. And he says, I biked through the checkpoint right into the east sector and noticed very quickly how dark and unpopulated it was, saying it left an impression that hit this 12-year-old kid. Said, I felt a kind of foreboding about it, and I didn't spend much time. As a 12-year-old, I saw the difference between east and west. He later told the students, I never made another trip like that, but I have never forgotten it. Now, why am I sharing this totally unrelated story? About a year and a half ago, I made a similar
Mr. Labrador, isn't that the same thing happens when you go from Utah into Idaho?
No, it's the other way around. So about a year and a half ago, I made a helicopter trip over the Clearwater Forest. And you could see the difference between the state lands and the federal lands. You could see the difference between the private lands and the federal lands. And it's something that has left an amazing impression on me, because you could see a healthy forest versus a decaying forest. You could see one that was green and prosperous and vibrant, and one that was dying and that was about to go up in flames. Governor Otter, have you taken one of those trips on a helicopter? And can you explain, because sometimes we talk about these things and people don't understand, but it's something that has left an impression on me, and I just wonder if you've done something similar, and if you could describe for the committee what you have seen.
Well, thank you, Congressman Labrador. I would tell you that last summer I took a lot of those trips. We had one of the #1 fires in the United States. It was designated so because of the potential damage, and that was the Trinity Ridge fire. The Trinity Ridge is on the Boise Reaches, so it's the watershed for the Boise River, which at Weiser dumps into the Snake River. But it's also a very vibrant water body, and it supplies a lot of water for Boise itself and other communities up and down the river. Perhaps Chief Tisdale said it best when he came to Idaho, and he said, I estimate there's 14 million dead trees in Idaho. 14 million. I think that was very conservative. Had he been on that ride with me across Lucky Peak, through the Arrow Rock Reaches, up the South Fork of the Boise, and then over the hill into the Anderson Ranch region to watch that Trinity Ridge, 230,000 acres of forest burning between Pine, Idaho and Idaho City, he would have seen a lot more dead trees that hadn't been touched by fire yet. And that's one of the dangers. As you well know, the Big Burn, we're at 103 years of the Big Burn anniversary. Most of the Big Burn was naturally replaced with lodgepole pine. Lodgepole pine has a life expectancy of 110 to 120 years. We've got a massive die. That was 1,300,000 acres. We've got a massive die that's coming on in Idaho without a bug touching it, or without tussock moth, or without any disease, just from the lodgepole pine itself. So you're absolutely right. I've been able, in fact, in part of that flight in the Clearwater, you undoubtedly flew over tribal grounds as well, and you saw a healthy, vibrant forest with lots of activity, live wildlife activity. But you also saw a lot of human activity on those same private lands, whether it was the Potlatch land or whether it was the Nez Perce land or the Coeur d'Alenes. In all cases, there's just a much healthier forest when it's attended to and it doesn't get overgrown.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, in your testimony you discussed Senator Crapo's efforts with the Clearwater Basin Collaborative. I'm a supportive of the initiative, and I look forward to the results they produce. Can you tell me the amount of timber receipts that Idaho County has received as a result of the CBC?
The CBC is still waiting yet to be approved. Still in its stages of going through the approval process that'll probably undoubtedly come before this group or whomever. I really don't know. It's at the top of the list of about 20 some odd other groups throughout the United States.
And why is it waiting?
Well, there are a number of issues, I guess you'd say. One is the bureaucracy, of course, but that affects everything. We've gone to lengths to have everyone's input into this process. Right now, we're waiting for it to be funded, to go through the budgetary process, a hearing process, undoubtedly, where each element will probably be out for public review and questioning.
Excellent. And you also talked about how the tribe manages its lands to produce jobs and revenues while also benefiting fish and wildlife.
Well, I know I skipped you, but you're red.
You took a little bit of my time by attacking Idaho. Could I take just a little bit of my time?
You got 15 seconds. Go for it.
Why is the tribe able to achieve this balanced management while the Forest Service cannot?
Simply because we manage wildfires, catastrophic wildfires. You look at 99.9% of the activity, it's the aftermath of the fires. Nobody goes back into the watersheds to stabilize them. The ecosystems are broke. And when people go in at other activities, they accomplish the same thing. So what you have ending up with is a wasteland. We've had to go in and fix these for fisheries, for culture resources, for plants, native plant restoration, and endangered species retrofits. So we've accomplished restoration and recovery activities on aquatics and terrestrials.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your indulgence.